Hello, soulmates, and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show at DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc-Shazad, the Pivot Maestro, and your heart surgeon for your soul hurts. I'm leading you into freedom, peace, and joy in life and business, and it is my absolute joy and pleasure. And this platform, Candid Conversations, is one of those methods in which we do so. So, here at Defining Paths International, you are our why and our motivation for everything we do. We're all about helping you think without that box and lifting you into that possibility mindset so that you can serve, profit, and sustain in mind, body, soul, and business. So, we're here to help you navigate those waters and put you back in business so that we can all rise together, right, through truth, transparency, and love. Candid Conversations is where we engage in real talk with our Define Your Path podcast guests about real experiences, personal journeys, and their intersections of life and business. So truth and real talk is the norm without exception on this show to help you heal, rebuild, and transform from the inside out. All are welcome. Always to the show. You are all welcome. You never know what you might get here, but we guarantee it will always be love, light, and life for your soul. And so I am so happy to bring back Define Your Path podcast spotlight guest, Karina Pontiles. Welcome, Karina. Welcome back and welcome to Candid Conversations TV.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love your podcast and I love more the long formats. So I'm very looking forward for our conversations.
Absolutely. And, I have a feeling this conversation is going to be fire, girl, because I had all kinds of issues getting started.
Perfect.
Yes. So, audience, if you have not listened to or watched Karina's podcast episode, you need to go listen. It is life. It is education. It's so informative. So be sure to do that. Don't do it right now. Stay here with us. And then you go back and watch that and then come back here and watch this again. So let me refresh your memory as to who she is, okay? Karina is amazing, folks. She is a psychologist. She's a certified hypnotherapist. She's an energy healer and transformational coach. So this woman does it all. She does it so amazingly and flawlessly. She's the creator of the RISE method, a subconscious transformation process designed to help women heal emotional blocks at the root level, and that's so important, and embody that highest version of yourself. So through her private practice, Karina has guided many women to break free from limiting beliefs, heal those unresolved emotional wounds, and confidently pursue the lives that they are meant to live. So Karina, girl, let's just pick up, follow our flow after that amazing podcast spotlight. Let's just start with a question. How have you risen from the ashes? And let's have real talk, girl.
Well, that's a very good one. How I rise from the ashes. Actually, that moment of my life, I call it the beautiful destruction.
Ooh, yes, do tell.
Yes, because it was truly a period of my life in a very short window. We're talking about a month and a half, losing my job, my boyfriend, my department, my friends, everything that I thought made me successful and all of that, everything I got lost in just a short period. So it was like, I call it was a slap in the face by the universe. but but I like to call it too my beautiful destruction because it really was that breakout point that I have where I have a decision to make. Either I just jump back to my old life, building in the same way, or take a beat, try something else, and actually discover what it is that I feel passion, what is aligned to me, and what actually can make me feel peace and happiness and fulfill. And that's what the road that I take.
Girl, that's everything. Just more of us need to seek and find that fulfillment and that peace, and fulfillment, finding fulfillment, girl, and just, finally identifying and walking in my soul's purpose. I can't even tell you how much joy, like just pure joy and peace that brought into my life, and just tremendous healing, right? And like there's also justification along with that, where it's like you've had thoughts or these paths that you've been on, or when you finally start connecting the dots and you're like, okay, and you arrive at that place, it's like a justified feeling almost. At least for me, it was. What do you think? Let me know I'm not crazy.
No, I think many of us actually live this kind of moments.
Yeah,
There are moments where we feel like our whole life is falling apart.
yeah,
And sometimes there are serious problems, like, for example, you get like a cancer diagnosis or something
hmm
about illness
yeah,
or something like that. You lose, like, I don't know, a long term partner.
hmm
And the thing that usually happens, that it was actually what happened with me the first week, is
yeah,
that we are all in such a rush to go back to your old life. It's
yes,
like, okay, if I lose my job, okay, let me start finding a new job in the same field, doing the same thing that
yeah,
probably didn't make me happy. Or
right,
you lose your partner, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
let me download Tinder, Bumble, and
right,
everything and start
yeah.
swiping and see who I can date and
Girl, that's
everything.
real talk. Right, right,
Yes. And we're
yeah,
always in this constant look for gratification, for what I call
yes,
that cheap dopamine.
mm-hmm,
And we don't take the time to actually take a breath, to
mm-hmm,
actually ask us the questions like,
yeah,
am I happy? Am I
right,
fulfilled? Do I
right,
feel like I'm actually doing my purpose in this life? Is this the
right,
life that I really wanted, or is the life
right.
that it was shoved in my face?
Right, girl, that is that.
And
Yeah,
yes. Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, I mean, no, girl. Look, I was with you, because been there, done that, right? And
Mhm.
it's like you're trying to fill these voids, these hurts, and you think this is the answer, right? You just want to numb the pain, and you don't want to face the actual fears, and tied to those fears, the root causes, which is the work that you do, and so it's when you do like just find that space or find that ability, that willpower to face, and embrace those fears and really, go there, take that journey. I tell you, when you come on the other side of freedom, I'm telling it is like it's amazing. But but most people never really get there, because we're in this on this cycle, in these constructs and just kind of living these mindless this existence, on the hamster wheel, for lack of a better term. So, or
Yeah, and
analogy.
it's completely normal if you
Yeah.
think about it, because at the end of the day, your brain
Mhm.
loves what is familiar.
Yes.
And sometimes what is familiar to us is not exactly something positive. Sometimes it's the bad relationship.
Yes.
Sometimes it's the boss that yell at you.
Yeah.
And your brain keeps looking for the familiarity, because for him,
Yes.
the predictability to know what is going to happen is actually what makes
Mm.
him feel like in calm, in peace.
Wow.
And we're walking like that.
Yeah.
And I love, I once heard the sense that usually when we make a change, is
Mm-hmm.
because the pain of staying the same
Yes.
is far greater than the
Yeah.
pain of change.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I've heard that as well, and I believe that. You said something, girl, that was so profound, and I want to go back there. And it's the
Mhm.
predictability which actually becomes comfort, right? And
Yes.
even if it's, kind of a negative experience, because that, that
Mhm.
situation or what to expect, we just kind of lull our souls to sleep and just in existence with just comfort that mm, isn't healthy for us, or really, doesn't bring us happiness, much less joy, but it's comfort and it's predictable, so therefore we get, we're fine with just kind of walking that out. That's,
Mhm.
I hadn't thought about it in that way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's better the devil that you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
and if we're honest, all of us are very scared of uncertainty.
Yes. Hmm.
Not knowing what is going to happen, of
Hmm.
course, it causes fear to everyone. And sometimes staying, for example, staying in that bad relationship that you
Yeah.
say, why are you still with him? Is because, because it's predictable.
Yeah.
Because I know what is expecting me at home. I know what is expecting to me with this person and everything. And it's like you
Mhm.
say, is my zone of comfort and I feel okay here. Maybe I'm not
Mhm.
happy, but I know exactly what to expect. And the whole
Yeah.
idea of start over and going to this world where I don't know what I'm going to find and everything,
Yeah.
that scares a lot more to people.
Yes, yes. But when you are able to shift and pivot from that fear, like, I've found personally, and then also with, folks that I work with, and just embracing, well, one, identifying those root causes, right? Those soul hurts, and in working to heal them, to reconcile them so that, you can step into that newness. The freedom that once you know how that feels, it's like there's no way I'm going back. you know and like, it's because you're standing in a different you're in a different place, in a different um position, right? It's like you're being led by the soul, as opposed
Mhm.
to the mind controlling, which you as a psychology girl, tell me if I'm wrong, but the subconscious controls and keeps us secure, right? Protects us. So even if it's, so overcoming that mind piece, and following, leading from the soul, understanding that, strengthens, I think, our willpower and ability to sustain, right, and start to heal the mind, or reprogram the mind, or rewire it.
Yeah, and what you say is completely true.
Yeah.
94%,
Hmm.
95% actually, of the things
Hmm.
that we do every day is ruled by the subconscious. Is ruled by
Yeah.
the subconscious mind. And in that
Mm.
subconscious mind that you can only access when you are in theta and delta waves,
Yes. Yeah.
is the thing that it was built mostly in your first 7 years of life.
Yes.
And that's the thing that everyone has to understand. Our conscious mind is only responsible for 5%.
People don't
You
know this.
No, people don't notice and they ignore this. And it's like, whoa, it's really like the metaphor of the iceberg. It's
Hmm.
like this, you're only seeing the little tip, but
Yeah.
everything that is under the surface, you're missing
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And when people understand that these beliefs that we have, they were built in the first 7 years of our life, you
Hmm.
have to understand that they were built with a child mind.
Yes.
And how a child interpret everything, they put everything in their fall. So for
Mm.
example, if my mother, I don't know, has 3 jobs
Yeah.
because she's juggling with a lot of things and we need the
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
what the little child interprets is that, okay, mommy doesn't love me because
Mm.
mommy doesn't spend time with me.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't love me and doesn't spend time with me, it's because I am not enough, or
Mm.
perhaps I'm not deserving of this love. Maybe
Interesting.
I'm a
Yeah.
bad child. And
Hmm.
those beliefs start to shape.
Yeah.
And then things happen when you were teen. I don't know,
Hmm.
your boyfriend dumped you and you say, see, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not enough. And you
Yeah.
get this confirmation of the
Yeah.
beliefs. And then
Yeah.
you're an adult and you
Yeah.
have these very strong
Right.
beliefs. And some
Yeah.
people like say like, well, but why would I blame my mother? Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, because it was your child mind.
It wasn't
If
even
all of
conscious.
that would
Yes.
happen right now in your adult mind, yes, you will of
Yes.
course rational like, no, yes, of course, my mother is the person who brings the money to the house. There is a
Yes.
lot of us. There is a lot of expenses. Poor girl,
Hmm.
she has to work 3 jobs and everything.
Hmm.
Yes, you develop empathy, but as a child, you cannot ask to
Yes.
have this level of analysis and
Hmm.
empathy or anything like that. So
Hmm.
when people are brave enough to go deep and
Yes.
see those beliefs, that's when they
Yeah.
get really surprised.
Right.
And that is also when they understand,
Hmm.
why am I acting the way that I act?
Yes. Hmm.
Why some goals are so hard for me to achieve it, even though I'm 100% sure that I want it, but
Yeah.
something is sabotage me. Then you understand why.
Yeah.
We see this a lot with the with the beliefs regarding money.
Yes. Talk
If
about
you
that,
ask
girl.
any
Yeah.
adult, do you want $1 million? Do you want $100 million?
All right.
Everyone will say, yes, of course. Yes, I
Yeah.
want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
But the reality is that many of us has beliefs that are negative around money. And
Mm-hmm.
there probably were because when you were a child, see money as a sacrifice. And
Mm-hmm.
this idea, for example, yeah, in order to have money, I have to sacrifice. That is why I have to work so much.
Mm-hmm.
Or this idea that money doesn't grow on trees. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, so money is hard to find.
All right.
Or this idea where you see bad, this person who have a lot of money, like you see, he's a bad person,
Yeah.
he's a cheap person. See, he has a lot of money, but
Yeah.
because he takes advantage of other people. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so having a lot of money is evil and
Yeah.
everything. And sometimes people come to me and say, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a ceiling. I can push forward to that goal of money. And I
Yeah.
say, yes, of course, because your mind is protecting you, because
Yes.
the belief that you have is that if I go beyond that ceiling, then I will
Mm-hmm.
be rich. And if
Yeah.
I'm rich, then I don't have friends because people are not with you because of the
Yes.
money. And then I
Yeah.
will be seen as a bad person.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, your brain wants what's best for you. But
Girl.
sometimes you misunderstood what that is.
Yes. Girl, Karina, you call all that stuff out, girl. You were all in my childhood. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to go back to. I mean, from just the fact that the programming happens in those first 7 years of our life. People don't know that
Mhm,
either. And so we mistakenly will go back to a situation or what have you in our adulthood, but we don't really, when you were talking about, when you were sharing that, literally I had clarity on my abandonment issues just in this
mhm,
conversation, right? So my abandonment issues didn't start where, I thought, with just my father, and his struggles, and then my parents' separation, my biological parents. It went all the way back to those first 7 years at a time frame when my mother had to run my father to work, and no one could come get him, and I was completely asleep, so she thought I was knocked out. Apparently, I woke up pretty quickly, and then, and I had just like freak out mode, and
mhm,
literally to the point where I even ran out of the house and started running to neighbors' homes and down the street and all that. And no one was home. And
mhm.
like, when my mother found me, like she was traumatized, I was traumatized, everybody was traumatized, you know? And
Mhm,
so that's where I'm quite sure that, because literally it just dropped into my spirit.
mhm.
That's where my abandonment issues go back to, you
Yeah.
know and that was, nothing. My mother had to do what she had to do, right? And so, and she's the sweetest woman walking the face of the earth. So, so it wasn't intentional, but my subconscious programming, and I guess then the shock of being alone, and not being able to find anyone or whatever, and literally feeling abandonment to my core,
Mhm.
really kind of set up those issues.
Exactly. And then
Yes.
other
Yeah.
issues happen in your life that were
Mm-hmm.
a confirmation
Mm-hmm.
precisely of that
Mm-hmm.
belief of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how you start shaping your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start
Yeah.
in your other life to have this fear of abandonment.
Right. Well, it's interesting because one time before, when I was doing like just some soul work, and when I'm working with folks, I have them do their soul inventory, through my Power to Soul Pivot, and came that thought came into my mind, but it didn't
Mhm.
stick, like it just stuck.
Yes. Okay. And I
Yeah.
can see why.
Yeah.
We're talking about the subconscious mind. And I
Mm-hmm.
do see this every time in every session of hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
Why, for example, why I cannot hypnotize myself? For
Mm-hmm.
example, I could record myself with the same session that I do with my clients, listening
Mm-hmm.
to it, but
Yeah.
why wouldn't work? Because when you are in the subconscious, it's like when sometimes you're asleep. You notice that sometimes
Yeah.
you wake up and you remember the dream, like, oh my God, I was dreaming that I went, I don't know, in the supermarket and I was
Yeah.
flying, and
Yeah.
then half an hour pass on and your husband come in and approach you and say, well, what's your dream? And you're like, I don't remember. I think I was in the supermarket, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those things escape because they're located in your subconscious. So, yes,
Yes.
when you're in a deep state of meditation, you can access.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in this state, when you are falling asleep or waking
Mm-hmm.
up, you can also access it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you are fully awake, you cannot access it,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is why you can of course do a lot of journaling and things like
Mm-hmm.
that and uncover some traumas and
Mm-hmm.
beliefs, but
Mm-hmm.
it's only when you do like a deep hypnotherapy and you
Yeah.
go to the source that you start discovering something like for example in your case, I'm
Mm-hmm.
speculating of course, it
Mm-hmm.
could be something that happened when you were 2 years old and you were
Mm-hmm.
in the playground and you didn't find your mother, you were
Mm-hmm.
not able to see her and you
Yeah.
feel like she left you. Probably she was put in another bench and you
Yeah.
felt like she left you. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like the beginning of your
Mm-hmm.
abandonment issues. And then this the
Mm-hmm.
other thing happened that confirmed it. And that's the other
Yeah.
thing happened that confirmed it.
Mm. Yes.
So
And
yeah.
this, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to go down this rabbit hole. Uh, so hypnotherapy. Okay, let's just talk about it because people have different perceptions, different thoughts about it. Most people probably have never experienced it. Can you just share a little bit about like what it is? How does it work? A little deeper than just the surface kind of hypnotizing.
Yes, many people have many beliefs of hypnotherapy. I have a friend who always makes fun of me and says,
Yeah.
"What do you place people to do like a chicken?" And I like, no, man, that doesn't work like that. Or people who are actually genuinely scared, like, I don't know, what if you force me to do something? And
Yeah.
I always tell them, if I could force you to do something, I will be rich. I will be forcing you to write me millions of dollars of checks and I will be rich, girl. So, no, hypnotherapy basically is when you take the person into these theta waves,
Mhm.
okay? And in the theta waves is when you can access the subconscious. And that's what we're
Mhm.
looking for. Because, for example, in your day to day, you are in a beta state, very active, very everything. When you're calm, probably when you do your own meditations, you go to an alpha state. That's good too. But when you reach theta, that's when
Mhm.
you reach the subconscious.
Mhm.
So, what hypnotherapy is all about is to getting you up to that theta waves
Mhm.
and then start discovering the why of something. So, for
Mm.
example, I want to stop quitting smoking, something like that.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like, okay, when you are already in the theta wave and we know that you're there, is asking, okay, let's find out the root cause of why you keep smoking. And
Mhm.
then I take you to several scenes that it
Mhm.
has to do with that. And then we
Mhm.
recall all of the things, what you feel, what do you believe in that moment and everything. And
Mhm.
then you're still in a theta state. We make sense of it. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, we see in this first scene this, and in the second scene this, and in the third scene this. What all of this is telling you. And
Mm.
that's when we reach to the limiting beliefs. And when we
Mm.
reach that, that's when we can also say, okay, does it make sense to you right now with your adult mind? Almost every time it's like a no.
Mhm.
Okay, let's discover why you're doing this. And sometimes it's a protection mechanism, sometimes it's a punishment mechanism too. So
Mhm.
we uncover that and then we say, okay, now we understand. For example, if it's a protection mechanism, you are smoking because your brain is protecting you from whatever cause.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then when you have this insight and we
Mhm.
realize you no longer need this is when
Yes.
we start interrupting the belief and we
Yes.
erase it from your mind. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't need this. This
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense. And all of this happen in the subconscious. It happens a lot that my
Yeah.
clients at the next day, they don't remember much of the session.
Really? So
Really?
how do you get them into theta?
By really, really relaxing. We
Okay.
do some relaxation techniques and
Mhm.
everything. And we also do the REM techniques with the eyes. And
Okay.
then when they are in that state and you can feel it, you can see
Mm.
it in the energy, in their posture, they're feeling
Yeah,
so much more relaxed and everything. It's
yeah.
like
Okay.
that moment when you're falling asleep, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
still awake because you're still giving them commands, you're giving them
Mm.
instructions,
Mm-hmm.
but they're super relaxed. And that
Yeah.
is when you say, okay, then now he has arrived.
Mm.
Let's start with going back to the scenes that
Yeah.
we need to uncover.
Mm. Amazing, amazing. As you were talking and just kind of breaking all of this down, I was thinking how amazing we are as human beings, right? And just our connection to the divine, and how all the answers are inside of us, and like it's a matter of remembering, you know and just like I know the work that I do, and just helping people be present and be and just embrace their soul power and co-creation, activating that piece. It's amazing because it's all about remembering, you know
Yes, I think that is also about being able to listen, because
just
what
that.
happens is like it's like if you are in a disco and you
Yeah,
are with this loud music and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, and you go to a friend and your friend is trying to talk to you and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what are you saying? It's like I cannot hear you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
Mm,
Our beliefs are this loud music that
yes,
is always functioning. And our inner voice, our spirituality is this
yes,
person who is trying to speak to you, but you
yeah,
cannot listen to it.
yes,
So for me, that is why it's so much value that the first thing that you need to do is
yeah.
empty your glass.
Oh,
You
oh, that's a
cannot
good
pour
analogy. Yeah,
inside a full glass. Yes. So
yeah,
you first have to empty. And once you empty your glass,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when you can really start connecting with what you're
Mm-hmm.
telling about the
Mm-hmm.
spirituality, remembering who you are, what is
Mm-hmm.
your purpose in life, what actually
Yes.
makes you feel passion and fulfilled, that gives you this drive and everything. And now
Yes.
you can listen because literally we fired the DJ
Yeah.
and it's only you and your friend there in that place,
Yeah.
and now you can really listen and
Yeah.
now you can really act. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, girl, I love that picture you painted, because so many of us love the music, right?
Exactly.
We like the beat, we like how it feels and all of that, and we're not even thinking about firing the DJ. You know what? Why, the DJ's our friend. He keeps us dancing to the tunes we like or whatever. But yeah, no, I love that
Yeah.
analogy.
And the other thing that you have to get used to it, which I believe is where it's a very challenging place, is that how a mind works is it tells you, for example, do this because if we do this, we will achieve this and we will
Mm-hmm.
get this. Like I said, talking
Mm-hmm.
about
Right.
the predictions. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But how a spirit works,
Mm-hmm.
spirit tells you, do this.
Yeah.
And you can ask, but why? And the spirit is not going to tell you
Nope.
anything.
It's not gonna
The
argue with you.
spirit never explain you anything. It's like, I'm telling
Right.
you to do this. If
Right.
you do this, great. And if you choose not to do it, okay, it's
Yeah.
your choice, free will
That's
and
right.
everything. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you what to do. No, but
Yeah.
tell me why and everything because it
Yeah.
makes no sense to me. It's like surrender.
It is. Oh,
And I
girl.
think that is a huge step that we have
It
to take
is.
is surrendering to the
Surrender.
universe, because
Yes.
when you surrender, besides the fact that a lot of magic happens,
Mm-hmm.
what I love is that the universe don't usually gives you what you are asking for. Sometimes
Yes.
it gives you something else, but it was
Yes.
even better.
Yes. What you need, like what your soul desires, taking you to your soul purpose. Girl, look, I love that. Yes. It's about surrendering like literally everything.
Hmm.
Ego, which is a hard one for people to lay
Yeah.
down, pride, right? Just all of those comfortabilities and those false identities, because that was something that I struggled with a lot, just, and it stemmed from, again, when I was younger. And so these identities that we create to fit
Mhm.
in, to feel good, these masks that we wear. I like to talk in that term a lot. And and we wear them, and we interchange them to go in and out of different places, or for comfortabilities, or just to, you know I don't know, create this persona that that we feel most comfortable with, or that other people feel comfortable with. Right. And inside, it's like literally our soul is dying, and it's calling and crying out to us, to just embrace our originality, right? Because we weren't meant to be copies. We weren't meant to be replicas of any sort, right? We were all divinely, uniquely, beautifully made. But again, those traumas that set us up in early stages, girl, it's just to think about it, it's real, it's so real and truthful. And so let me ask you this, because I keep having this thought, for people who say, oh, I don't have any traumas, or I don't, girl, I think those are the people that need to be on the couch. Like, for real, they're the people that need to be, making that soul pivot, because they're in denial, would you say? And it's like they haven't faced fears, or things in their life, or something has caused them to blank out that happened in those early years. What are your thoughts, girl? Yeah.
It depends how people define also trauma. Because
Mm,
sometimes people define trauma like, I don't
yeah.
know, if someone sexually assault me,
Mm,
or like I witness a murder happening,
mm,
like these big, huge things. That's
mm,
what sometimes people say that is trauma.
mm,
So they say, no, I don't have any trauma because I never lived something like that.
yeah.
But trauma is everything that leaves an imprint on you. And
Yes.
trauma can be
Mhm.
you in school and
Right.
your father picking you up late. And it
Right.
was a trauma for you because it
Yeah.
make you feel like, oh, my dad doesn't love me. And I'm the
Hmm.
last kid here in school and I
Yeah.
feel like unwanted. And that's a
Yeah.
trauma too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, in that concept, of course, we all have
Yeah.
traumas because nobody's perfect. We all
Right.
experience things that, of course, were uncomfortable, that were negative, that created this
Yeah.
narrative and everything. And
Yeah.
we just have to overcome them. And yes, there
Yeah.
are people who also suffer big, big, big traumas. So yes,
Yeah.
we all suffer trauma. Sometimes I
Hmm.
have to explain to people like this because I do notice
Yeah.
that sometimes people imagine like, oh, only the big traumas. And I say,
Right.
yeah, I understand. Lucky
Right.
for you, you didn't live a big trauma, but you did live
Yeah.
little traumas. And when I start
Yeah.
mentioning these things, they are like, okay, yes, I did go through that and everything. And I
Hmm.
say, yes, those are
Yeah.
traumas.
Yeah. No, well, thank you for validating for your professional opinion. No, seriously, because and certain people, can hear that, and people hear things and see things when they're ready to hear and see them, right? But yeah, that's something. When I hear that, I just, I my heart bleeds for that individual, because I know there's something there's
Exactly.
something there. But they're, you just give them grace and love on them anyway. And and so in my case, pray for them, and and we'll see. Yeah. So, this is fascinating. Okay, so folks should not fear hypnotherapy, and it might actually be an idea for, or solution to, some folks who are listening to our conversation. So, I'd be curious.
Actually,
Anyone? Yeah, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
found a little bit of more, not resistant, but like this idea of, will this really work? Is with
Mm.
energy healing.
Really, even
Because
more so.
yes,
Hmm.
because either way, you might have like a little bit resistant before the hypnotherapy session and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but the hypnotherapy session always will give you such a powerful insight that
Hmm.
you will always end up with a wow effect. It's like,
Interesting.
whoa, I didn't know that. Or
Hmm.
whoa, I didn't imagine that that's how it was created, or that it was this belief. Everyone is always
Yeah,
so surprised.
yeah,
But energy healing works in a different level where
yeah.
you sometimes you can sense it right in the moment, or you
Right,
can sense that, I don't know, the next day, or you
right.
can sense it months, or even you
Yeah,
really notice that it was making a change when you remember, yeah, a month ago I was feeling like this and now
yeah,
I feel like this.
Yeah.
So I get more people like, I don't know if this works
Yeah.
for me, or this is for real. I feel
Yeah.
like the typical woo woo, this is woo
Yeah.
woo, and I'm like, okay.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Karina, because and I guess again, is it an issue, or is it that familiarity issue, right? People know the term hypnotherapy, it's been around for a long time, all of that. But a lot of people are just starting to wake up to and understand that we are energetic beings. And like literally, we are energy, coursing
Hmm.
through us. Our heart beats because of energy, and so, is it that this is just a newer field or a newer work that's just kind of growing in strength, or, what is it? I mean, why do you think people have the resistance, or they have, so in the performing arts we had this saying, the willing suspension of disbelief, right? So you can go into that fantasy world and whatever. But why do people struggle to have that suspension of their disbelief in energy work and healing?
I do believe, unfortunately, that it has to do with ignorance. But
Mm-hmm.
when I say ignorance, I don't
Mm-hmm.
say in a bad term. I said it that in schools and even in universities, they don't
Mm-hmm.
teach you these things.
Right.
And there is science. This is science, actually, that
Mm-hmm.
has been existing for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Quantum field, quantum science exists
Mm-hmm.
for many decades.
Yeah.
And it has proved that we are 99.99999% made of energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energy.
Yeah.
And they have also proved other things that, for example, praying. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, let's not say praying. When you place an intention, for example, if you are
Mm-hmm.
sick, you have
Mm-hmm.
something, a
Mm-hmm.
disease, and me and another group of people are
Mm-hmm.
placing the intention for you to get better, and we're sending you love and good energy, like, yes, please, for
Mm-hmm.
Virginia to get better. It has been proved that actually that
Mm-hmm.
improves your health.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been proved by science, by doing
Yes.
experiments like this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is tons of research, of
Yeah.
so many findings that actually
Mm-hmm.
prove that energy work actually works.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you have also the science of epigenetics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Epigenetics have shown us that
Mm-hmm.
our mind has the power to activate and deactivate genes.
Yeah.
So I can
Wow.
activate my
Yeah.
gene of cancer, and I can also
Wow.
deactivate my gene of cancer.
Fascinating. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately this is not something that is very well known, because if you can find a person who is skeptical and you show them all of this research, of course they will see, oh yeah, maybe this works,
Yeah.
because definitely there's
Yeah.
tons of results and
Mm-hmm.
science and everything that
Mm-hmm.
is telling you that it works. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's more like that. And of course,
Yeah.
sometimes they have bad experience, or like I
Yeah.
say, sometimes you don't feel
Yeah.
anything at the moment, so you are quickly to say, ah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
work. This was a scam. It didn't function
Mm-hmm.
and anything. And you start hating the thing, and you say, no, this
Yeah.
energetic work is totally
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and could it also be, yes, all of that. And that was very informative. Thank you for sharing and breaking that down, and making it more real and tangible for folks. And folks, who are watching this right now, drop in comments if you've had energy work, if anything Karina is saying or we're saying or talking about is resonating. If you have any questions, and we'll get in there and respond. But when I think about, because I'm fairly new to energy work, and really over the past maybe 3-4 years, and when my body literally just locked up, and I think you and I talked about this a little bit, and I was dealing with all kind of musculoskeletal issues, and like my stress levels, cortisol was off the charts, and just all of these things happening with my body. I started doing energy work, and for in that healing process, and I found it's so profound, right? And like literally when you're just present and you allow yourself just to be in that space, and you're following the commands, or just the breathing and all of that, you could literally feel, at least I can, and I don't know because I don't know, I was told that my energy was off the chart. So we'll find, I don't know. But I literally can feel movement
Mm.
like coursing through the body. So, like, how can you explain to folks who might be looking for, okay, well, what is the feeling, or what should I be feeling, or what? And I know that it's different per person, but uh, is there a general kind of thing that happens?
No, it's very unique to every person. And I
Uh-huh.
think what is important is for you to discover what kind of person you are. Because there
Ah,
are people
that's
who
great.
feel more,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
have these feelings and everything. For
yeah.
example, me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
more audit. I
Mm.
listen to things. I
Ah, okay.
actually listen to messages.
Okay.
That is like the high for me. And then the
Mm.
next is visual. Sometimes I see things when I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
my work or when I meditate and everything. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I feel things.
Mm.
And for me,
Okay.
for example, I never smell anything. Some people
Mm.
actually smell things too. It's like,
Ah.
I can smell something sweet, and this sweet it
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for example, you didn't smell anything, but you say, no, but I
Yeah.
feel like a light, like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was shining around me. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, I don't know, I listened for a message that said, you are the light, Karina, and you are shining. It's very different for everyone.
Mm.
I think the first thing you need to do is discover what it is for you
Yeah.
and to stick with it. And like I
Interesting.
say, sometimes you and it happens to me. Sometimes I have been doing some meditations that are deeply profound that give
Mm-hmm.
me these wow messages and these
Yeah.
feelings like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
there are some meditations that I don't feel anything. And just
Yeah.
because I didn't feel anything, it doesn't mean that it didn't work. And that is
Mm-hmm.
also important because if we
That's
are always
important.
going to chase the feeling, the rush and
Right.
everything, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you're seeing then energy work just like the same way that you see
Yeah.
social media
Yeah.
looking for that dopamine.
Right, right.
Then I know
Yeah.
I cannot be like that.
Girl, so fascinating because, I did some work one time and I literally, and it was really profound because it got to kind of like one of the general, and I forget the terminology, girl, I got to brush up on it, but it drove to image issues,
Mm,
that were like kind of my general thing, right? Which made so much sense. And when she hit on it, it was like so profound and so revelatory for me. I remember later that night, that same night, when I was asleep, and I think I had fallen asleep. My husband hadn't come to bed yet or something, but I literally started feeling like a coursing, just full body coursing of energy, like it started center and it just started growing out. And I kid you not, folks, I'm not making this stuff up. Literally to every edge and extremity of my body, from my hands and my feet and my crown and and like literally just at a point where it was just building up and like my whole body was warming up and it just exploded. And it
mhm.
was crazy because about that time my husband came in. He was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was like, I can't even explain it. I was like, you're not even gonna believe it. So, and so I have every belief that it came from that. It was connected to that experience.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And if you feel it, that's true. That's
yeah,
true. Hmm.
yeah. Wow. And then I felt so good after that. It's like I felt like something broke. Like literally I started embracing, just that revelation that I had, and just started walking, embracing that fear, and just, it was like I was
Hmm.
stronger and I had and there was freedom in that. So, girl, it's fascinating. All this stuff, it's amazing. I was speaking with someone else about just the connection, or some people struggle with the connection between science and soul. Was that us on the podcast, or was that somebody else?
I think
Anyway,
it's somebody else.
yeah, yeah. But it's fascinating. I would love to hear what you think just about that. That a lot of people, either they're all in the science camp or they're all in the soul camp, and and the two shall never meet. But, I feel like everything is given, from God. Everything is divine and it's all connected, and it's all a part of this human experience, and it's for us to explore and connect the dots and figure out and, I don't know, what are your thoughts out of curiosity?
Honestly, I think that nowadays science and soul are more interconnected.
Yeah.
And the thing that we need to understand is that science is a way that we prove in
Mhm.
somehow with experiments and everything that
Yes.
something is definitely influencing or impacting another thing.
Yes.
And the other thing that we need to understand is that there are so many questions right now that we cannot answer because we don't have the technology.
Mm, that's
But
good.
right now, with the technology that we have, now we're proving things that they were speaking about in the East
Yeah.
hundreds of years ago that now we know,
Yeah.
oh, yes, it's
Yeah.
completely true.
Yeah.
And
Like
now,
human
for
design.
example,
Yeah.
yes, and for example, we were talking about the mind and that some people focus on the mind and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a psychologist. I focus a lot on the mind, but I
Yeah.
also understand the value of energy healing
Yes.
because it's all about the energy and the heart.
Mm.
And right now, science has
Yeah.
proven that the heart has more neurons
Yes.
than the brain.
Mm. Mm.
And now it has discovered also that is the heart that is giving messages and signs to the mind.
Yes.
It's never the mind to the heart.
Yes.
It's always the heart to the mind.
Yes. Yes, and hence that mind body soul connection, and I say all the time, like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm working with folks and my students in the soul inventory, and I have a column where I talk about our heart condition,
Mm-hmm.
because like our heart responds from like those soul hurts, and it's so powerful, and just in the whole conversation around energy. It's like some people laugh at tree huggers and all of that, right? But like our heart, literally, the energy radiates out, to my understanding, and the vibrational levels, and the power to heal or to affect, you know, everything in our vicinity is so powerful, and
Yeah.
we don't have, that's not common knowledge. It's not common understanding.
I think the part that is also not very common understanding is that how important is our heart, our emotions. For
Yes.
example, taking the example of the hugging the trees. I am a hug tree girl.
I love.
Yes, and
Yeah.
actually, when I'm feeling low on energy,
Yeah.
I love to. I have a tree very near to my house. It's like my
Yeah.
tree. It
Yeah.
even has a name,
Yeah.
and I go there and
Yeah.
touch it, and it actually
Wow.
fills me with energy. And
Yes.
it's not only the belief that I may have that, yes,
Hmm.
this is Mother Nature giving me energy, but it's also the feeling that I'm having. And
Yes.
when I go to that tree, I always feel in gratitude. I'm
Yes.
always, even before I feel anything, I'm always like, thank you so much for the
Yeah.
energy and everything.
Hmm.
And right now, it has been so proof that what
Yeah.
you're feeling is
Yeah.
actually what makes the shift. You can see it
Hmm.
nowadays in manifestation, but you can
Yes.
also see it in the ways that you heal your body.
Yes.
When you feel, and it's also the placebo effect. When you
Yeah.
feel like you're healing, when you feel
Yeah.
like this is happening and everything, it
Hmm.
actually makes it a reality. It makes a huge impact in
Yes.
the field. Mhm.
Amazing. Amazing. And this is why our emotions, it's so important to be able to regulate our emotions, or, and why, even in conversations and just the levels or development of emotional intelligence, why that's so important. It all ties back to the condition of the heart.
I'm not a fan right now. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of regulate emotions or emotional intelligence.
Talk about it. Oh, I love
Yes,
this. Perfect. Real talk.
I learned because what they
Mhm.
told you about regulating emotional or emotional intelligence is
Yeah.
that okay, so you are in a conversation and you get angry, and
Hmm.
instead of yelling at the person, no, 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 you breathe and you don't yell. What we're
Hmm.
teaching you is how to suppress your emotions,
Right, which is a no-go. Right. So
which
it's
shouldn't be a
interesting.
no go. that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should
Right.
be like, okay, this is trigger me. What she's saying is
Yeah.
trigger me, is making me angry. What I should do is figure out why is trigger me,
Why it's
and
triggering.
with
Yeah.
energy healing, for example, release all of
Mm-hmm.
that energy. Because if it's
Mm-hmm.
triggering you, you have a lot of whatever it is, anger,
Yeah.
guilt, shame, I
Yeah.
don't know, frustration, resentment, lock in your body that is
Yeah.
connected to whatever is your trigger. And
Yes.
I learned this with energy healing. Once I got healed,
Yes.
all of my triggers disappear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And anyone can see me and they can think, oh,
Yeah.
she's so
Yeah.
intelligent with her emotions and everything. And it's like, no, I'm not thinking
Yeah.
about regulating my emotions.
Yeah.
The thing is that now nothing triggers me. Everything
Yes.
has a neutral effect on me, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that don't have a neutral effect and perhaps make me anger or something is not a
Yes.
huge anger, it's a little anger.
It's a little
And with
anger.
a
Yeah.
little anger, all I do is telling you,
Yeah.
you know what, Virginia, I didn't like what you just said right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine that perhaps there is a good reason behind it. I would
Yeah.
like to understand it because the way that I see
Yeah.
it, I didn't like it. Can you
Yeah.
tell me about it? Okay. And everyone gets like, what the hell?
Girl, you know what? We all need to aspire to that, okay? Because you're on a whole nother level with that, seriously. But I'm finding also, since I've been doing the energy work, since I've been understanding my human design, since I've been, doing all of this work that, all these things that connect and work together, that I don't have, like those triggers on levels that I've had in the
Mm.
past. So I aspire to be in where you are. But seriously, I want to back up and just and delve into that whole, because that was revelatory for me also, and I'm sure for folks who are listening, going back to that the emotional intelligence. So you're saying the concept behind that is more of a restraint as opposed to a restraint in like how people are, how they're being, or how they respond to things, as opposed to intelligence in understanding where the other person is coming from. Can you clear that up a little bit, or and I might have
It,
said that whole thing wrong, but I got the
no, but
example you
I
gave.
think
But
I understand the
yeah, yeah,
idea. For me, it's more
yeah.
like a control mechanism. It's the
Okay.
same when they tell you,
Mm-hmm.
don't speak about politics on this table. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. It's a control
Okay.
mechanism. They're saying
Mm-hmm.
you cannot speak about politics in this
Mm-hmm.
table. If you're feeling a high emotion, like you're feeling, for example, a
Yes.
lot of anger, it's
Mm-hmm.
understandable that you don't have to control it or anything. For me, what they teach you about emotional intelligence is just for you to be more acceptable in society.
Mm.
They're teaching you
Okay.
that, how to be more
Interesting.
acceptable
Interesting
in
perspective.
society.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
are not teaching you how to get in touch with your emotion. They are not
Mm.
teaching you to honor your emotion and say, okay,
Yes.
why do I feel this deep sadness?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, why? What's going on? Let me find out. Let me
Yeah.
release that too.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't teach you that. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry because this is not the right context for you to cry. Wait
Mm-hmm.
until you arrive home and you're on your bed and then you
Yeah.
cry on the pillow. Is
Brilliant.
that healthy? No,
Nope.
it's not healthy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for me, those are
Yeah.
changed. Those are
Yes.
changed. That's what I
Cross.
always say,
Yes.
that for me, energy healing is all about freedom. It
Yes.
really sets you free, because how
Yes.
beautiful it is that you are not triggered by those things, that you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel those high emotions. And even
Yeah.
better, when you feel those emotions, you honor it. When I'm
Yeah.
seeing a movie that moves me and makes me a little bit of cry, I cry
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with my emotion. I'm very proud
Right.
of it. It's like, oh, it makes me cry. And
Right.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's your emotions. There is nothing wrong
Yes.
about it. Mhm.
You know what, and just something that popped up in me with you giving that, saying that and giving that example is, you know, people who, when we suppress tears because we think it makes us strong, or, it's not manly, or it's
Mm.
weakness or whatever, just that whole conditioning has just been so detrimental to society. And it's directly connected with, just, ills and cares, of this world, and why people, have such difficulty, I think, turning inside and looking at self and healing and working on self, to ever, much less be able to relate to other people and, and give them that love and healing and grace and what have you. Yeah, it's crazy how it's all connected, and you can literally connect one dot to the other, you know. But it all comes back to us and self, would you say?
Yeah, but you also have to be brave enough to go against all the society, your family, and your friends tell you.
That's hard, yeah.
Because the other thing that I see in my clients, and I did leave it in my part, is that
Yeah.
when you are also healed,
Mm-hmm.
your environment starts to not liking you.
True.
Yeah, many get
True.
angry actually. Like
Yeah.
like I don't like what the person that you became. I like
Yeah.
it more how you were
Yeah.
before. There are
Yeah.
other who are so confused. Like, why are you saying this? Why are you
Yeah.
behaving like this? So yeah, sometimes you have to be brave
Yes.
to take that step and say, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, I don't want to keep playing this game. I
Mm-hmm.
would rather be here, connecting
Yeah.
with myself, being
Yeah.
myself. And the
Yeah.
persons, and honestly, the persons who are going to accept you more are the persons that are going to vibrate at the
Yeah.
same frequency that you are.
Yes, totally, totally, totally. Okay, so do we want to talk about vibration? I feel like we might
Yes,
need
I
to
love
talk about that to
vibrations.
be complete. Yeah. I want to make sure we get that in because it's like these conversations, and my goal is to make sure we're complete. So I feel like since you brought that up, we need to talk about that. So people don't know what that's another thing. People don't understand or know what it is or how it's tied to or what it's tied to or like that. So would you like to start off this conversation?
Yeah.
Share, do
Well,
share.
we know that we are, like I say, 99.999% of energy. We
Energy,
are
right.
all energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we are also projecting these fields. Actually,
Yes.
your heart projects
Mm-hmm.
a huge field that
Huge.
so far we don't have the technology to measure how much of that expandness is actually is. We're
Wow.
saying, I don't remember how big it is, but the
Yeah.
number that we're saying is because
Yeah.
it's the top number that the instrument can measure.
Wow. Yeah.
Not that it is.
It goes
And
beyond, yeah. The
exactly. And our
vibration. Yeah.
brain also creates a field. And
Mm-hmm.
all of that functions in a way that you start vibrating in certain
Yes.
frequencies. And for
Yes.
example, I love the scale that David Hawkins used. He studied all of this and he created the emotional frequencies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that when you vibrate it from 200 below, that is a
Mm-hmm.
low frequency. And
Mm-hmm.
in there, you find emotions like guilt, like shame, like
Mm-hmm.
anger, things like
Mm.
that. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them are more lower than the others. And then above 200, you find the good
Mm-hmm.
emotions, the
Mm-hmm.
high frequency. Then you find
Yeah.
acceptance, love,
Yeah.
gratitude, joy,
Yeah.
and all of these beautiful things.
Yeah.
And we can totally see that in other people. Those
Yeah.
are the people who you see that are walking into a room and they're like all beautiful and
Yeah. Yeah.
shining, and you're looking
Yeah.
at them and say, damn, I want to be
Yeah.
like that person and everything. Those are
Right.
people who are vibrating in a high frequency. And you
Yeah.
also see the people that are going to sad, or they're
Mm-hmm.
more like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you can feel like the low energy. And you
Mm-hmm.
can have many conversation with many people that tell you about these emotional vampires, because it's like, no, I was with this person, and when I left, I was feeling all like all of my
Yeah. Yeah.
energy disappeared. Like I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I don't know, sad. I wanted to go to bed and everything.
Yeah.
So energy like that is possible.
Yeah.
For me, what is the goal, and that is the goal that I have every day, is to maintain your energy
Mm-hmm.
vibrating high.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is the challenge,
Yeah.
because the real question is, how do you keep your energy high when
Yeah.
you are facing obstacles, when you're
Right.
facing bad news, when things don't
Mm-hmm.
go out the way that you wanted? How do
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is like the beautiful game that you start playing.
Yes, girl. Like today, girl, my energy, I woke up, it was like off the charts. I was vibrating so high, right? And then time started becoming a factor. I was like, oh, I gotta go get my first, recording in or whatever.
Mhm.
And then like there were obstacles and just like smoothly getting into that because I kind of have my routine and just kind of easing into it. And yeah, and then you had literally have to consciously like fight to lift yourself back up or not allow yourself to fall down into those into that lower vibration.
Exactly, because you can either spiral down
Yeah.
or you can spiral up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's little things that you can make adjustment and that it can actually help you. For example, I always put an exercise with my clients in
Yeah.
order to find what are the things that actually gives you energy. And it's
Yeah.
different from everyone. For example, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's certain types of meditation, it's
Yes.
qigong exercise, it's touching my tree, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And for others, is something else, is dancing,
Mm-hmm.
is singing out loud one of the
Yeah.
favorite songs and everything. It's very different for everyone. And I always say include that to your daily routine,
Mm-hmm.
but also try to identify what are the things that, for example, makes you down. I see a lot of
Mm.
things. For example, envy is one.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, I have the
It's
goal of
huge.
having a beautiful boyfriend, and
Mm.
then I went going to a restaurant and I see this couple, and then people start feeling like, I want that. Why does she have it? Why I don't have it? Oh
Yeah.
no, life is so bad. I bet that the man is awful and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you start rewiring yourself? And for
Yeah.
example, in those moments, what I do, I do it by myself. I always see things that I want in other
Yeah.
people, and I smile and I actually feel joy and gratitude. And I
Yeah.
say, that is for me too.
I love that. Oh,
And I smile. It really fills my heart with good energy. And I smile and I say,
yes.
that is for me too.
That is for me too.
And it's little
Mm.
things like that. And for
Yeah.
example, to tell you an anecdote, recently I want to buy an apartment and
Yes.
everything, and I have this idea, and
Yeah.
I talk to my real estate, and I say
Yeah.
I want this, and
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and then my real estate call me and say, yeah, but if you want in this area, then perhaps you won't be able to have this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, in that moment, I feel like bump, like no way. So I want to be
Mm-hmm.
having my dream department and
Yeah.
everything. And talking to my guys, like I
Yeah.
say, I do a lot of hearing. I listen to a message that
Yeah.
basically tells me, yes, you want this, but if you go to this way, what it will also give you is give you the opportunity that, for example, now you will be forced to do this other thing that actually will be good for you. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. I was seeing everything so
Tunnel
limit.
vision. Yes.
And yes, if I go to this direction, it actually opened me
Mm.
another doors. And that is
So
the part of
good.
surrender. That truly
Yes.
surrender is all about,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever is coming my way is
Yes.
the best version that I can have right now, that it will lead me
Yes.
to the next step. And you have to
Yes.
start building that faith, that emotion.
Yes.
And that is how you stay vibrating in a high frequency.
Yes. Oh my gosh, girl, look. I'm trying that was I love that. Thank you for saying that. And it's so true. We have to just believe that everything does work together for our good, right? Even if we can't see it or understand it, we'll understand it. It's that whole by and by thing we'll understand and when connect the
Mhm.
dots. Oh, that's brilliant. Girl, I think about when we were talking, I think this is in your podcast, and I know we need to pump brakes, but this has been like life, girl. So much education and revelation and reconciliation and all that stuff I love. Renaissance. I'm feeling like a new woman over here. Uh, but like seriously, when I think about how you shared the person you were, like when you weren't walking or living in your soul's purpose, right? When you were working, when you were in human resources, I think it was, because we had that
Yes.
in common too. And then like just to see the joy and the smile, girl, I never see you without a smile. You
You,
know,
because you knew me after I healed myself. But the people who actually work for me,
yeah,
they didn't get to see my smile a lot. They actually were very frightened about me.
yeah, yeah. Girl,
I
I
was
cannot
scary. I
imagine.
was a scary person.
Well, girl, you are just such a blessed soul. And I just appreciate and thank you and have gratitude to you for the work you've done, because you pass that on. Literally, I know we're online here, but, you're over there in beautiful Chile and I'm over here in the UK right now. And so, but I can feel your energy, and just seeing that. And it's amazing how energy travels and vibrations travel
Mm.
and just like, how we're so connected on this planet, and we don't realize, and we just need to be, I think we all just need to make the commitment to be more self-aware, right? And get in touch, and literally, just seek to heal our hurts from the inside out, through whatever various methods. So I tell you folks, you guys, you need to reach out to Karina. Girl, thank you for joining me again and having this candid conversation and just having real talk, bearing your soul, me bearing my soul. This is what it's all about. This is how we connect. This is how we heal. This is how we rebuild and transform. And so, girl, thank you for just who you are. And just sharing. Yeah. So I want to make sure you have the opportunity to have any closing words you'd like to have so you feel complete, because I'm feeling pretty great over here.
I think one of the things, because we did touch a lot of topics, but one
Yeah.
thing that I want people to understand is that you need to do this by step. First, you have
Mm,
to empty your glass and then you fill it with other things.
I love it.
Sometimes we're in such a hurry that they can probably see this chapter and say, "Oh yes, I want to be like this, so joyful and everything. Oh, I'm going to start doing the things that that she tells."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man. First, you have to
Mm,
empty yourself.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're building in top of
Yeah.
garbage. And when
Mm,
you don't have a strong foundation,
yes.
everything falls apart. With a little bit of wind,
Yes.
everything falls apart.
Everything falls
So you
apart.
have to work a step. First, heal
Mm,
yourself, release yourself from these limiting beliefs, all of this
yeah.
drama, all of these dark emotions. And
Yeah.
then, with that strong foundation, start building your life. And it will be so strong that even a tornado will pass by and
Yes.
you will still have your strong foundations.
Yes. You will still have your joy. Girl, you know what,
Mhm.
Karina? Girl, you are amazing. Audience, be sure to just share your appreciation, your ahas, your perspective shifts, thoughts, whatever you're feeling. Drop that in comments. Show Karina love. Reach out to her. Follow her. All of her information will be in the show notes. Karina Pontiles will make sure that you get connected and you take that initiative to get connected. So don't forget to like and share this episode. Seriously, share this episode. Oh my gosh, there were so many profound moments, so much just yeah, so much everything. Just nuggets, diamonds everywhere, girl. And be sure to subscribe to the channel right here on YouTube at Defining Paths Online. And we appreciate you. I set those notifications so you don't miss these life-giving conversations, because this was truly life, love, light, all of that energy, high vibrations and all. So Faithful, I leave you with this, what I always leave you with, and that's the reminder that the truth will set you free.
Mm.
The truth of who you are and why you're here, what you're meant to do, how you're meant to serve your soul's purpose. The call to action is to think without the box, right? Unplug from the matrix, from those sociocultural programmings and conditioning that's been holding you back, right? That's been keeping you in those chains that Karina was talking about, snuffing out your soul. So remember, the world may demand one thing from you, but those are constructs, and you don't have to stay in that mindless spiral, right? It's your choice. You're able to remove the mask. You're able to just step out of that denial state, that state of denial, and heal, right? Stop hiding from your truths. It will be so rewarding when you break free. I had to have that candid conversation with my soul, as I'm sure Karina did as well. And we finally chose us, right? We finally chose healing. So that's when we were able to pivot, heal, rebuild, and pursue our soul's purpose and be like literally brand new people. Like Karina just told you, people they can't even imagine her back then. And that's the newness we're talking about. That's the Renaissance. Same person, right? Same beautiful person, but just a different, walking with light and purpose, right? And healed and in the fullness. We want that for you. We want you to build your success on that firm foundation. So please feel free to reach out to Karina. Feel free to reach out to us at Defining Paths. We want you to be the captain of your fate and the master of your soul, and you can be. So I'll ask you the question as we depart. What is the candid conversation that's trying to erupt in your soul? Is it time to pivot? Is it time to define your own path? We're here to help you do just that. We're here to help you power your soul pivot. We're here to help you break free from the chains that bind you. So just reach out. It's for you to make the decision. It's for you to choose you. Once again, I'm DocV, the Pivot Maestro for your mind, body, soul, and business, here with the beautiful Karina Pontiles, woman extraordinaire, full force of nature. Please like, subscribe, share, and set those notifications again. And always be true to you and define your path. So we'll see you on our next episode, and stay plugged in. Karina, thank you so much, girl. You are life and light.
Thank you.